I recently read a powerful historical fictional novel that blends a story about identity, about resilience, and about the long lasting effects of trauma across different generations. Hi, and welcome back to the One More Book podcast channel. My name is Florence, and I'm happy to have you here. If you're new, welcome to the channel. And if you're a regular, of course, welcome again. I talk about books and everything in between pages. I am back today with a review of a book that I read a couple of weeks ago. I would say 2 to 3 weeks ago. I unfortunately don't have the physical copy with me because I borrowed it from my library. Yay! I am so happy. I am so happy and so proud of myself for reading books that are available at my library. First of all, I am so happy that these books are available at my library because it is saving me so much money. So much money. So, the particular book that I read is called The Manual for Good Wives by Lola Jay. It has two covers. The one that I will share here is probably the purple one, but the one that I got was pink. It was so beautiful, such a beautiful pink, bold pink color that is very, gives you those spring vibes. So, it's one that I wish I had a physical copy of, but still, it was just nice to have it in my hand. So this is actually I believe, the second book by this author, or maybe the second most popular book by the author. The one that she is mostly known for is called The Attic Child, which is also I have seen shared by very many book content creators and has very good reviews. I have My library doesn't have that, unfortunately, so I would probably get it as an audiobook. But I think it's even good that I read this before reading The Attic Child, because most people who've read The Attic Child were like, the Attic Child was better than the Manual of Good Wives, but for me, this is my first book by her. So I'm not comparing, which gives me like this neutral position. So this book is a powerful historical fictional novel that blends the timelines between the past and the present. And it brings together a deeply emotional story about resilience and talks about the characters in this book trying to find their identity and also the long lasting effects of trauma that is passed down from generations to generation. So the novel follows two intertwined timelines. We move between two timelines and two main characters. So on one side, we meet Temi. So Temi is a Nigerian princess. She's born in this kingdom. She's the daughter of a king. And when she turns 16, it's based around the 19th century. So when she turns 16, she is forced into an abusive marriage, which is really harrowing. But I would say through the grace of God and through support and just through her being determined, she escapes this marriage and she escapes Nigeria and moves to England. So we follow her life from Nigeria and then when she moves to England. And she leads a very, very interesting life. I loved how the author used different scenarios, very, very surprising plots and twists to show us the kind of life that Temi led. So when later we meet her again, where she has taken over this character called Adeline Copperfield, where she's now turned into this modern day Carrie Bradshaw, but the opposite, a woman who writes advice columns for women who are married or who are trying to be married, while of course she's hiding her identity because she's in England. She is not even supposed to be writing articles as a black woman. So this is her storyline. And on the other side, we meet a second woman called Landry. And Landry is a modern day descendant of Temi, which she later finds out a bit later. It's not a spoiler. They are related. It's said at the back of the book. So Landy is dealing with her own doubts about the kind of life that she's living. When we meet her, she's in a very serious relationship with her boyfriend. They even get engaged. And then she's just thinking, is this what my life is going to be? So she's having second thoughts about her life. And then she decides to retreat. She decides to retreat to her ancestral home where she needed some time alone to think things through. And this is where she discovers Temi's story and begins to better understand herself. So the novel gradually reveals how these two women, separated by centuries and years, are somehow connected through these secrets. They are connected by their courage. They are connected by both of their search for freedom. So the themes in this book that I encountered included the theme of identity, which was very strong. Identity and reinvention, how the characters were able to reinvent themselves in the new spaces that they found themselves. I saw it really, really coming out through Temi's character, because as a Black woman, she was navigating life as a princess in her homeland. And then now she moves to England, Victorian England, where she's an immigrant. She's a Black woman. And yet she thrives. She continues to rebuild her life. Every time she comes across challenges, things just keep on falling on her path, trying to bring her down. But she always retransforms herself, which raises powerful questions about race and about belonging and about societal expectation, especially on immigrant women, on Black immigrant women. We also see the theme of female strength and survival. We see how Temi's journey is very emotional and most of the time often heartbreaking, but in a way also inspiring in the way she keeps on fighting. She endures so much. She endures abuse and loss and moving and leaving your family behind and coming to a strange country and the discrimination that she encounters. Yet she continues to fight on to rebuild her life. And critics often highlight her as a powerful and resilient character, which she really embodies from the beginning until the end. We also encounter generational trauma and healing. Through the dual timeline in the book, it allows the author to explore how past experiences really, really shape future generation. It is something that we cannot avoid, and we see the characters really, really going through it. We see how Landry's timeline kind of mirrors Temi's timeline in subtle ways, by showing how healing can begin from the moment where you decide to confront your history, when you go back, when you dig up, and when you look at how your ancestors, what they went through, and how you got here. Because it really, there are some decisions that you make that you think you're actually making them on your own, but it's because your ancestors went through something. So redefining who you are and dealing with the trauma and healing yourself really, really takes place when you confront your past. And also the emotional depth that this novel really, really went into. It is very heart-tugging and absorbing. I could not put it down. I read it, I think, in a matter of 48 hours. I will share I took some short clips when I was reading it. It is something it's a book that when you're reading, you don't want to put it down because you want to know what is coming on next. You know complete the vision, yeah. We've been working like the the themes of love, how is the betrayal and hope, how she weaves all that into the book is just so well done. I've seen online that some reviewers felt like the modern day storyline of Landry was less engaging when you compare it to Temi's story. But to me, I think they are two different timelines. Temi was her life started back in the 19th century. So her challenges cannot be the same as Landry's challenges because Landry is now in a modern day world. She's employed, she has her savings. She's at a different point in life as compared to Temi. And of course, because Temi fought to get to where she was, because of how Temi fought is allowed Landry to have all these luxuries, so she didn't have to go through what Temi went through. So we can't, I feel like it is unfair to compare the two timelines. And when it comes to Lola Jay's writing style, I find that she writes in a very emotional and very accessible way. It is very easy to read. Her words are very easy to follow. The storyline is not complicated. There's a very strong focus on the storytelling instead of or focusing on rather dense historical detail. Yeah, like I didn't find myself stopping to try and see, okay, which timeline in real life did this happen. No, it was very simple, very straightforward. For someone who enjoys like immersive world building, this would probably not be the book for you. I enjoy both. I enjoy historical world building where I waste so much time trying to find out all the facts that are mentioned in the book. But also on the other side, I also like just reading to enjoy. I appreciated the clarity and also the emotional focus that was put on the characters. So for my overall verdict of this book, I think I gave it a 4 star because to me it was a very moving and thought-provoking book that really shone brightest in its historical storyline. The emotional part is what really held me in this book. I enjoyed Temi's journey. It was very unforgettable. It was full of courage, full of pain, but also full of determination. I feel like the book is perfect for a reader who is into things like a dual timelines. It is not confusing at all. It's very clear. Someone who enjoys historical fiction with strong female leads, someone who enjoys stories about, of course, identity, about determination, about race, about resilience, and it probably would not be for someone who is looking for a fast-paced plot. It's very slow. It takes things very slow, but of course, it's very immersive. I found myself really immersed into this world. So there's an equal balance between the two narratives. Landry has her own life and Temi has her own life, and I think they melt together in a wonderful way. They balanced each other. I also appreciated how she brought the two stories together at the end. She tied it up quite well, quite cleanly. I loved it, and I think I will definitely pick up the Arctic Child to find out just what kind of storyline that have. So if you've read this book, let me know your thoughts because I would love to hear about them. And if you haven't, do you think that this is a book that you'll pick up? Or have you read any of her other books? And what are your thoughts about historical fictional books that have dual timelines? I totally love books that make me feel something and make me feel like I'm deep in the story. They make me think deeply, and this one is definitely one that did that. I enjoyed it. It wasn't traumatic. It was very encouraging. It was a light read. It was something that brought me joy and entertained me, and I think that is we need such we need such books, especially during times like this. So let me know in the comment section. I'm always looking for more and more recommendations of such books. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.